Well, hello there. Hello again. This is Serge from Let's Talk. Let's Talk. And hold on a second. Let's turn on some lights. It's getting dark already. And I just want to say welcome again. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Last stream abruptly ended because my internet connection went out. So because of that, the stream just ended abruptly. I apologize for that, and I was not able to reset my last stream, so had to start a new one. Um, and you will be joining in. Let's see here. Let's see here, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining in this stream. What's going on? Looks like I do have some internet issues. I apologize for. I apologize for the internet issues that I'm having right now. I'm not at the studio. I'm mobile. Today we're doing it mobile. I'm in another state, but still, especially on Sunday, wherever we are at. That this is one of the things that I like about internet is that no matter where we are at, we can plug our computer, plug our little system into the internet and continue the streaming aspect. So it's awesome. It's awesome. The things that for us in today's day, it's very good. It's very good that and it's as if see my internet is going in and out, in and out, in and out. Um, Apologize for this. Let's see if we can if it's gonna stabilize or not. I hope it will. I hope it will. If it won't, then I'm sorry. I may just cut it short if it won't. But if it will, then great, awesome. So what is the truth for me, right? What is the truth for me? The truth for me is I compared quite a bit of teachings out there, and each time I compared the teaching or I read the teaching, I think about it in a critical way. I actually think about it in such a way as, does this teaching make sense that it's from God or not? Like, God is good, right? God is good. So one of the things that I am critical about is, does the teaching have evil information? Does the teaching prompt humanity to evil actions or not? So another thing is on the sexual side too, because we are an extremely a perverted generation. So the sexual side has to be pure and clean. So those two are actually one of the biggest um, things that I am considering or looking into whenever I read any teachings. So when I read the teachings of Jesus, and I sat down for a whole year, half an hour a day, reading the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Only those four books. That's it. Only those four books for a whole year. When I'm done, I would go back and start all over. When I'm done, I would go back and start all over. So and after a year of doing that, I could not find any evil or any impurities in the teachings of Jesus. I just couldn't find anything that is evil, like, or any errors or any flaws or any misinformation, any lies, anything that would put a question inside of my mind whether those teachings are from God or not. So I just couldn't find anything from that end. Um, hey bro, hey bro. I couldn't find anything from that end, and since I couldn't find anything on that end, I didn't put the teachings of Jesus aside. I mean, I made them my primary teachings, but then I started to pick up other teachings, like, let's say, the Quran. I picked up the Quran. I started to read the Quran with the same mindset that I read the Injil or the Gospels, and I found some very questionable things in the Quran, very questionable. And one of the biggest things that I found, I go like, if people are commanded to obey this, then that puts that puts that puts our little girls in danger. 8-year-old girls, 9-year-old girls in danger if someone was to obey that what Muhammad's Allah said. And once I read that, I started to think, and I go like, this this cannot be from God. That simply cannot be from God. God would God, according to the teachings of Jesus, God is protective of children. He's extremely protective to the point where he says, if anyone offends one of these little ones, for them, it's better that a millstone would be tied to their neck, and they will be thrown to the depths of the sea with the millstone. That option would be better than what's gonna happen. So Jesus is extremely protective of children. And in the Quran, it's like, if we obey this, if we normalize this book, if we bring Sharia law into our country, our young girls will be harmed. Totally opposite of what Jesus has taught. So that put some questions in my mind, whether the Quran really is the last revelation or not. So which of the verse? Here, I'll show you, bro. I was somewhat hoping you're gonna ask, and at the same time I was hoping you're not gonna ask, because it's one of those topics that I don't like to hold, but if somebody is pulling on my tongue, let's do it. Okay, right here. It's on the it's not on the screen yet. Here you go. Right here, see? It's on the screen right here. From Quran.com. Okay? And it's chapter 65, verse 4. Right here. This is a very disturbing verse. Very disturbing. Do you want me to go over it in detail? Or do you know exactly what that verse says? And if you can, Genosi Khan, if you can explain to me this verse, how this verse is not evil, bro, please do. Please help me out, because this verse, I have a few other verses, but this is one of the verses that literally just throws me off of Islam. I mean, there's this horse of Islam is passing by, and this horse of Islam is inviting me jump on the horse, and I see this verse being written on the horse, and I go like, I don't want to jump to that verse. I mean, I don't want to jump on that horse containing those teachings. This verse is, it's hard. It's hard to take it in. Like the caller from a previous stream, I showed him this verse. I'm sorry, guys. My previous stream abruptly ended because my internet suffered a major issue. It got disconnected and it ended the stream. So I started. In the previous stream, I showed the caller, the person whom I had a conversation with, this verse, and he himself said that no, he doesn't agree with this verse too. He himself said this. Like, okay, when a Muslim says that he does not agree with Muhammad's Allah, well, I'm an outsider, okay? I'm an outsider. When that happens, I have even more questions. I have questions such as, why doesn't a Muslim agree with Muhammad's Allah? Why does a Muslim see evil in the teachings of Muhammad's Allah the same as me, an outsider? Why? Does am I in my right mind, or am I crazy to say there are teachings in evil found in the teachings of Muhammad's Allah? I mean, am I crazy to say this? But Muslims agree with me. If you can help me, to understand this, oh, that would be wonderful. On top of the comments, oh, I didn't paste the link. It's the new stream. Let me paste the link real quick. Let me see where it's at. I turn on some bright light, so it's right into my eyes too. Okay, so right here. There. So this, if you think that you can help me to understand this verse 65:4 in Quran, please do. Please click on top of that link. You'll be taken to our studio room, and I'll bring you up on stage and help not just me, but everybody else that are on the stream to understand what this is. What is this about? Because I'm pretty sure that, like, think about it. Think about this. Muslims, they say that Quran is the last one. They come up to a Christian like me and say, Quran is the last revelation of God. So because Quran is the last revelation of God, you thus must believe in what God said. And I go like, okay, sure, sure. I hear you. I understand exactly what you're saying. Sure, but let me first, before I agree, I fully agree and accept what you're saying. Let me first look into what Quran is, and let me compare it to the Injil, because uh, even in Quran, a Christian is supposed to judge the Quranic information according to the gospel. And if it aligns to the gospel, then the Christian should accept it. If it doesn't align with the gospel, then a Christian should reject it. That's what the Quran says too. And if you want that, I can always uh, show you this too. But let me see if I can um, really quickly activate my comments thing. I'm doing everything on the fly, because my last stream has abruptly ended because of the internet connection. So I'm doing everything on the fly right now. And I just wanted to say, please like the stream. Your like, it actually helps for YouTube algorithm to present the stream to more people. So your one like can bring somebody else to the stream, and we can have a valid, very good conversation about what is the truth. Share the stream, and also subscribe to the channel. And on top of the comments, I pasted a comment. I pinned a comment that has a link to our studio. And if you want to have a conversation, truth is, let's do it. Or the biggest thing is, if you can help me out, like literally, if you can help me out, and I really mean it, to understand Quran 65:4, I would be glad. Yeah, let me just go over some comments here. Doesn't work. Which Bible? This one. Which Bible? This one. This one that I'm reading. This one that I read. This is not Quran. This is Quran. This right here. This is a New King James translation. Okay, this is English New King James translation. And this right here, this is Quran.com. And the translation, the English translation that I'm reading in Quran.com is by this guy, T. Usmani. T. Usmani. This is one of the accredited, one of the good translations of Quran too. So that's what I'm reading. Would God forgive a thief without baptism? This is one of the questions. Would God forgive a thief without baptism? Oh, my comments thing is there. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can fix my comments so that everybody would be able to see what it says. Very, very, very light. Okay, there we go. There you go. Where did my comments go? Oh, well, anyways, my comments. My comments, they don't want to work well for some reason today. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can enlarge them. I'm sorry for this. Let me just want everybody to see what the conversation is about. I thank you for your patience. Let's do this at there. There, I got it fixed. So something that I was looking to fix. Okay, so I got this fixed. Thank you. Okay, so here's the would God forgive a thief without baptism? Would God forgive a thief without baptism? So what is the saving point? What's the saving agent? Is baptism the saving agent, or is faith the saving agent? What is the primary saving agent? Well, the primary saving agent is faith. That's the initial thing. It's by grace through faith that we are saved. By grace through faith that we are saved. So we are saved by faith. That as simple as that. Now, my next question would be this. Faith. What is faith? That's the next question. What is faith? According to James chapter 2, let me show you. So according to James chapter 2, where's it at? Very last verse. For as the body without spirit is dead, so a body without spirit, it's still a body, okay? So it's still a body, but it's dead. It's useless. It brings no good anymore or bad. It's just useless. So faith without works is dead also. Faith without works is dead. So the saving agent is faith, okay? But now, is that faith alive or is that faith dead? Your works will show. Your works will show. Baptism is the very first work that a living faith would do. It's literally the very first step. If we look through the book of Acts, we see over and over and over again that a new believer would get baptized instantly that same day. A person comes to faith and they get baptized instantly. So basically, the reason why they get baptized instantly is because that's what Jesus has commanded. Those who believe and are baptized, they will be saved. So that's what Jesus has commanded. But let's say for the thief on the cross. The thief on the cross, he was not able to get baptized. He wasn't able. I mean, he wasn't able to be taken down from the cross and get baptized and be put back on a cross. So that was not an option for him. But now, was his faith, was it real or was it fake? Let me show you something from the Bible. Let me show you something from the Bible. Let's see if the thief on the cross, his faith, is it real or is it alive or is it dead? Because the living faith is the saving faith, and that faith, it's dead. It's useless. It's literally useless, as the body without spirit is dead, and the body without spirit is still a body, but it's useless. It's dead. There's no use to that body. Same goes for faith. Look, let's read in Luke chapter 23, starting from verse 39. Then one of the criminals who were hanged blasphemed, saying, so there are two criminals and Jesus in the middle on the cross. And so one of the criminals who were hanged blasphemed him, saying, if you are the Christ, save yourself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, do you not even fear God, seeing you are under same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong. Then he said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, assuredly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. Okay, so according to this story, what we're looking for is the faith of that thief on the cross. Does he have a living faith or does he have a dead faith? Okay, which faith does he have? So let's see what he has done. He has done the only thing he could do. So let's see what he has done. Look, so one of the criminals that is on the cross beside Jesus started to blaspheme Christ and started to dare him. And the other guy, the other criminal, he says, he rebuked him, answering, do you not fear God? So basically, the other guy started to defend who Jesus Christ is. That is the only thing he could do. The only thing he could do is use his mouth as loud as he could in order to do something godly. In this case, he used his mouth to defend who Jesus Christ is. So the question is, does this criminal, the thief on the cross, did he truly believe in Jesus? Is his faith alive or is his faith dead? According to the only thing that he could do, he did it. Could he get off the cross and be baptized? No. But because we see that he did have living faith, I am 100% sure that if he would be off the cross, he would go get baptized. I'm 100% sure. Why? He had living faith. So that faith does not save. Living faith, that's what saves, is the living faith. So it was this question right here. Let's see here. This one right here, T Hicks. This is regarding Quran is telling everybody to judge by the Torah and the gospel. Yeah, and it's very fascinating. You know what fascinates me extremely a lot after having extremely a lot of conversations with the Muslims. It fascinates me how Quran says one thing, but the Muslims, the representatives of Quran, actually say completely different thing. I have a list of passages from Quran that say that the gospel is legit, that say that the gospel is authoritative, that 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 even say that Muhammad, if you have doubt in what you're receiving, go look into the gospels. Go talk to the people of the book of the Injil. Go talk to them. Okay, if Muhammad himself was directed to go talk to the people of the gospel of the Injil, yo, Muhammad's Allah really picks up the Injil even higher than Quran because he's sending Muhammad. If he has any doubt, I mean, obviously he will not have doubt because he's the prophet of God. And how can the prophet of God have doubts? Oh, easy, easy. If you look at Muhammad's starting point after the cave of Hira and the cave of Hira events and everything else, you will see that that dude is full of doubts, full of doubts. So easy. Just read the story of Muhammad, what was going on with the cave of Hira after and, well, for many years after that too. Easy. You'll find out that he's full of doubts. But is he going and talking to the Christians? No, not really. He doesn't want to do that. Why? Because it's humbling. Yeah, he would have to humble himself. If he would go talk to the Christian, he would have to humble himself. I don't think that Muhammad was able to humble himself. I don't think that. He wanted to look good in the eyes of people all the time. I find that over and over and over through Quran, but I don't think so that he was humbling type of dude. But anyways, and the interesting part about this, judged by the Torah and the Gospel, and let's go over that Quran verses. You'll see how Quran lifts up the Torah and the Gospel like to an extremely high degree, but an average Muslim, they're doing everything they possibly can to claim that the Torah and the Gospel is corrupted and they're trash and we should not even focus on them. The Quran says that they're as good as it gets, but an average Muslim want to get rid of those books. I find this interesting. Why? Why wouldn't an average Muslim actually agree with the Quran? Like why? Why do they fight against the Quran? I find this interesting. I mean, Christians, they do fight against the Bible as well, but Islamic theology is built against the Quran, the theology itself. Theology, where if you go to any Islamic imam, any and every imam is going to tell you that the Torah and the Gospel is corrupted. They will try to point how and explain to you how they are corrupted as well. So Islamic theology does not agree with the Quran itself. It's not just the people, it's the theology. And I find this interesting. And within Christianity, we don't find this. We don't find where like a theology is fighting God. Well, some of the denominations they did introduce their own in a way theologies that are fighting God, but like within Islam, it's a general scope. Like all of Islam is on the same page that the Torah and the Gospel are corrupt. All of Islam. It's not like by denominations where Shias, they agree with the Torah and the gospel being corrupted, and Sunnis, they do not agree with that fact. All of Islam agrees with the fact that the Torah and the gospels are corrupted, all of it. Within Christianity, I mean, by denominations, we can find where people do not agree with the Bible, but within Islam, it's like the whole thing, the whole religion is fighting the Quran on this one. Okay, so let's start. Let's start. How do they ask you to judge while Torah is with them? Having ruling of Allah. Still, they turn away after that. They are no believers. So how are they asking you to judge while the Torah is with them? So this is a story where Jews, they come to Muhammad with a case and are asking Muhammad to judge their case. And this is what Muhammad's Allah is telling to Muhammad. Like, how do they ask you while the Torah is with them? So Torah is with them. At the time when they came to talk to Muhammad, Torah is with them. And Torah, look, Torah having the rulings of Allah. So the Torah that is with them, within that Torah, inside of the book, there's rulings of Allah. So why are they coming to Muhammad if the Torah has the rulings? Like, in other words, Muhammad, by this logic, by this, what Quran is saying, Muhammad is not going to say anything new. He's just going to tell them whatever the Torah says. Like, what's the point? Like, go to your Torah. And then if you continue, still they turn away after all that. So whether they come to you or they go to the Torah, they will still turn away. That's just the type of people that they are. They are no believers. Concluding that verse. Next one. Surely we have sent down the Torah in which there was guidance and light, by which the prophets who submitted themselves to Allah used to judge for the Jews. And so did men of Allah and men of knowledge, because they were ordained to protect the book of Allah, and they stood guard over it. So, O Jews of today, do not fear people, fear me, and do not take paltry price for my verses. Those who do not judge according to what Allah has sent down are the disbelievers. Hmm. It's interesting how, according to this verse, like if I were to break it down a bit. So we send down the Torah, and the Torah has guidance and light, and the prophets used that guidance and light and submitted themselves. And they used to judge the Jews according to that guidance and light. So it's a book of wisdom. The Torah is the book of wisdom as well. Right here, it's a book of knowledge and wisdom. And the Torah was ordained protection. There was people ordained to protect the book of Allah, and they stood guard over it. In other words, they actually protected it. So according to this verse, the Torah, there's a group that stands guard over the Torah, protecting it. And if we inspect this verse even more, we see how Torah is being presented and uplifted as Muhammad's Allah's word. And it's like it tells us as well that the Torah is not corrupted because it's protected. Fear me and do not take paltry price for my verses. Wow. Those who do not judge according to what Allah has sent down, they are the disbelievers. So Muslims, if you do not judge, if you do not believe that the Torah is valid, sent down from Muhammad's Allah, you don't even believe Islam. Any Muslim, look, any Muslim that says the Torah is corrupted, in reality, they don't believe Islam. They don't believe in Islam. They're just calling themselves a Muslim, but they're not a Muslim because they must believe in the rulings of Torah to be a Muslim. If one says, I believe, and then let's say I would present to you the rulings of Torah and ask you, do you agree with this? And you say no, then, but according to Quran, a Muslim must agree with the rulings in Torah. Next, we prescribed for them therein a life for life, and an eye for eye, a nose for nose, and a year for year, and a tooth for tooth, and for wounds and equal retaliation. And for wounds and equal retaliation. Then, if one forgives it, that will be expiation for expiation for him. Those who do not judge according to what Allah has sent down, they are unjust. In other words, Muhammad is saying what the Torah says. So Muhammad is trying his best to actually say the Torah is the ruling of his Allah. So dear Muslims, Quran is telling you that the Torah is not corrupted. Please don't say that the Torah is corrupted. Please, I mean, in a way, you're going against your own God when you do that. We sent Isa, son of Maryam, after those prophets, confirming Torah that was revealed before him. And we gave him the Injil, having guidance and light therein, confirming the Torah that was revealed before it, a guidance and a lesson for the Injil, and the Torah is a guidance and lesson for the God-fearing. Dear Muslim, if you are a true Muslim, you must read the Torah, the Injil. You must, according to this, what I read, you must read the Torah and the Injil. You just must. So that you'd learn some lessons of the past. Some lessons that we find a lot of stories in the Torah and the Injil. We find a lot of stories over there. And those stories, they help us to get to know who God is. So you can, and in order for you, dear Muslim, in order for you to read the Torah, to read the gospel, you cannot read it with a mindset that they're corrupted. You can't, because you're going to get confused. You will not know what is true, what is not true. You have to remove the mindset that the Torah or the gospel is corrupted, because that line of thinking, and again, that line of thinking is not even Quranic to start with. It's the imams that have been brainwashing the Islamic population that the Torah and the Gospels are corrupted. It's nowhere in Quran. Anyone who reads the Quran and dares themselves to find where the Quran explicitly says that the Torah and the Injil is corrupted will come up short. They will not be able to. They literally will not be able to. But they will find a lot of passages such as what we read, where the Torah and the Injil is not corrupted, is authoritative, is as good as it gets. So why are the books, why so similar, all religious books? They are they similar? They're similar. Sure, I'll give you that. They're similar, but they're different. They're different. The core of all the books is different. The Torah, the core of the Torah is God's covenant between him and Abraham and the children of Abraham, specifically through the line of Isaac, Jacob, and his descendants, not the Ishmaelites. Ishmael and the rest of Abraham's children were sent away from Isaac. Isaac is the only one who stayed to inherit the promised land. Ishmael was sent away and he moved down south in the territory where Saudi Arabia is at in today's day. That's where Ishmael moved, is down south. But Isaac, the inheritant, the one who inherits the blessing, he stayed in the promised land. So the Torah in itself is a covenant between God and Abraham and Abraham's Isaac line through Isaac, through that line specifically. So that's their covenant. Me as a Gentile is anyone who's not part of the children of Israel, who's not part of the children of Jacob. So that person is a Gentile. I'm a Gentile. I have no roots. I have no roots in Judaism or in Israeli lineage at all. I have no roots whatsoever. Me, I am fully Slavic Russian from Belarus side. That's who I am. So me, I'm a Gentile. So now for me, how can I enter into the kingdom of God? How can I enter into the covenant of God? According to the old times, during the old covenant, I would not be able to. Because that covenant was only between the children of Israel and God. That's it. I was left out of the covenant. I had no covenant with God. So I was left out. I was not part of a relationship with God whatsoever. And when the old covenant, the children of Israel, they continually broke the old covenant. They continually angered God. God returned them back. God restored them. God fixed everything. And then it goes down south again. God is punishing them. God is turning them, is telling them to return to the good ways. And they are rebelling against God. So after some time, God sends down his one and only begotten Son with a plan, a mission to institute a new covenant, to pay the penalty, to pay the fine, the penalty for sin, and institute a new covenant between God and him and all the people that believe in Jesus. Jesus, he fulfilled the old covenant. He fulfilled it. And he instituted a new covenant. And in that new covenant, everyone is welcomed. Everyone. Because this new covenant, it's available for all nations. All nations. Not just the Jews, not just the children of Israel, but all nations. So, and anyone who believes in Jesus, in this new covenant, will be saved. So that's basically the Bible. That's the Bible, okay? Then 600 years after, Muhammad comes along and he changes a few things. He says, look, let me show you. I will show you what he says just really quickly. Just see for yourself what Jesus says and what Muhammad says. So this is the new covenant according to Jesus. This is the base. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. Okay, so to simplify all this, God has given his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That's the base rule of the new covenant, is believing in the only begotten Son of God. And verse 18 says, he who believes in him, in Jesus, as the only begotten Son of God, is not condemned. But he who does not believe is condemned. Why are they condemned? Well, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. Okay, let's break this down. Begotten Son of God. So let's see, according to Muhammad, can God beget a son or not? So in Quran, chapter 112, look. Say, the truth is that Allah is one. Allah is besought of all, needing none. He neither begot anyone, nor was he begotten. So according to Muhammad, Allah has not begotten anyone. So in a way, Muhammad is hearing Christians preach that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. And he, Muhammad, responds back to the Christians with, no guys, you are wrong. You're wrong. Allah does not beget anyone. Muhammad could not read. Obviously, Christians would bring the angel and say, look, the teachings of Jesus does say that he is the only begotten Son of God. He taught that. But Muhammad couldn't read it, and he wouldn't believe what they would be telling him. And he couldn't read the angel for himself as well. So Jesus says that anyone who does not believe in the name of the only begotten. So begotten is a big deal. It's huge. And Muhammad is actually canceling that begotten fact. He's canceling it out. But according to Jesus, if anyone does not believe in the begotten aspect, then that person is under condemnation. So do you see how Quran is not really the same as the Injil or the Torah? Quran in a way is fighting the Injil. So according to Quran, Allah does not beget anyone. But according to the Bible, you must believe in the begotten, in the only begotten. You must. So the next thing, look, I'll show you then real quick about the Son part. So only begotten, and then the next thing is the Son. So only begotten Son of God. Does God have a son? According to Jesus, we must believe in Jesus as the only begotten Son of God in order to be saved from condemnation, in order not to be under condemnation. But look what Muhammad is teaching. I've showed this earlier in the last stream, but still, so that you would see. In 1988, he says this: they say, the Christians say, the all-merciful Allah has gotten a son. Indeed, you have come up with such an abominable statement. So the fact that someone is saying that God has a son, according to Muhammad's Allah, it's an abominable statement. It's an extremely bad statement. Anyone who says that statement, it's so bad that the heavens are well nigh to explode at it, and the earth to burst apart, and the mountains to fall down crumbling. It's that bad. For they have ascribed a son to the all-merciful Allah. So this part right here, why so similar all religious books? They are similar. They are similar. I mean, they're similar in many aspects. But the Quran is actually fighting on angel salvation aspect. Quran is going against specifically the salvation aspect of the angel. The salvation aspect of the angel is believing in the only begotten Son of God. The only begotten Son of God. But Muhammad, with his teachings, is actually canceling the begotten aspect and the Son of God aspect. And he says, if you say that God has a son, you're actually going to hell because you're committing a shirk. So Quran is fighting angel. Yes, it does have a few similar things to the angel, but on the main principle, on the foundation, the foundational teachings of Jesus, Quran is against it and is fighting. What that makes Muhammad an antichrist. Because Jesus is the Christ. Jesus taught that in order to be saved from condemnation, we must believe in the name of the only begotten Son of God. We must believe. But 600 years later, thank you, specifically 100% on point, 600 years later, Muhammad comes along and says that if you believe that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God, you're going to hell. Jesus says, if you believe that he is the only begotten Son of God, you will be rescued, you will be saved from hell. But Muhammad says, if you believe, if you dare to believe that God has a son, you are going to hell. So the reason why you cannot find Quran in the Bible you find the Torah, Zabur, and Injil. You find those three. Why? Because they're in line. They are in line. But the reason why you cannot find Quran in the Bible is because Quran is fighting all of them. Quran is the only book that is contradicting and fighting against all of previous revelations. And so you know what I find interesting is, like, this is one of the verses. This verse is pretty cool in Quran. Quran is saying, look, he has revealed to you the book with the truth. So the book with the truth is Quran, confirming what has been confirming what has been before it, and has sent down the Torah and the Injil. So Quran is supposed to confirm the Torah and the Injil. So this is the claim it makes. It makes the claim that Quran is supposed to confirm the Torah and the Injil. But once I open up the Quran and compare it to the Injil, I see quite the opposite. I see that Quran is corrupting the Injil. The Injil that I have is valid, is as valid as it gets. And then once I open up the Quran, I see Quran is actually the source that is trying to corrupt the Bible, while claiming that it's confirming the Bible. Like, how deceiving is this? Like, look how fine this deception is. Like, it's crazy. Muhammad, look how deceiving he is. Look how hypocritical he is. Muhammad comes to, let's say, to Jack. Okay, Muhammad comes to Jack, and he says, "Jack, bro, I got the last revelation from God. Jack, you have to hear me out." And then he says, "Jack, bro, this last revelation, it 100% confirms all the previous revelations. It's spot on. It's from God, Jack, bro, it's from God." And Jack says, "Whoa, it looks like you're super confident, Muhammad. It looks like your confidence level is through the roof. Bro, share with me your last revelation from God." And then Muhammad gets super excited. He opens up his mouth and says, "Bro, God said that he does not have a son. And anyone who believes that God has a son, that person is going to hell." And Jack goes, "Huh, but, okay, Muhammad, you just told me that your last revelation is in line, is confirming the previous 3 revelations. You just told me this. And now you're saying that your last revelation, God said that he has no son, and anyone who says that God has a son, that person is going to hell. Bro, Muhammad, see what the last revelation is saying. And please tell me if what your new revelation, is it confirming the last revelation or it's not? Please tell me. But before, see what the last one is saying. Look, this is when Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. When he had been baptized, Jesus came up immediately from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting upon him. And suddenly, this is very important, very, very important, this right here, very important. And suddenly a voice came from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Then Jack, after showing this to Muhammad, says, "Muhammad, bro." And suddenly a voice came from heaven. "Muhammad, who's talking here?" Muhammad goes, "Oh, it's Allah." And Jack responds back with, "Muhammad, sure, I agree with you, it's Allah. What is Allah saying?" And Muhammad goes, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." But Jack, I'm the last one. I'm the last one. My revelation is the last one. I am your guy. You go to me right now. You obey me right now. And Jack goes, "But Muhammad, you're telling me your claim is, your initial claim is your last revelation confirming the previous one. In the previous one, I just showed you that God himself said that Jesus is his son. But your new one, your latest revelation, your whatever God has told you that he has no son, Muhammad. You're trying to make me believe in what you're saying. But what you're saying does not confirm what God is saying. Muhammad, open up your eyes and let's read the angel, what God is saying. So that you would know that what you're saying is not confirming what the angel is saying. And Jack would give Muhammad a printed or written version of the angel, hoping and encouraging Muhammad to read the book. Ah, Jack. Little do you know that Muhammad is illiterate. He cannot read. So he won't be able to read the book that you've given him anyways. So all this Allah's Muhammad said, revelations, such as God has no son, he won't be able to confirm if they're from God or not. He just won't be able to confirm. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Quran 548 makes it clear Allah wants 3 separate parties. Let's see what it says. Yeah, there's a lot of like, the Quran is a very contradictory book. It's very contradictory. Like, logically, it's very contradictory. Like, well, I'll show you. So 548, right? 548. 548. Let's go over this one. So we have sent down to you the book with truth, confirming Andrew. My service, my internet from the last live, it went out, and the stream stopped, and the YouTube is set up in such a way the second the stream stops to end the stream. So, and I didn't notice the message that YouTube gave me that it's not receiving the stream anymore, and I did not know that the internet was out, and it stopped the stream. It ended the stream, so I had to start a new one because I wasn't done. I mean, I wasn't done. It was going really well. It was going really well, and yeah, and just abruptly ended. But it's okay. There are things such as these happen too. Okay, so according to so Quran makes it clear in 548 that Allah wants 3 separate parties. So let's read. We have sent down to you the book with truth, confirming. We just read this not too long ago. Confirming the book before it and a protector of it. So judge between them according to what Allah has sent down, and do not follow their desires against the truth that has come down to you. For each of you we have made a law and a method. Okay, so that's right here, this part. It's clear. For each of you we have made a law and a method. Had Allah willed, he would have made a single community of people. But he did not, so that he may test you in what he has given to you. Strive then to excel each other in good deeds. To Allah is the return for all of you. Then Allah shall tell you about that in which you disputed. So Allah is the creator of the three. I agree with that one. Muhammad's Allah is the creator of Christianity. I agree with that one. Because the verse that specifies where Muhammad's Allah, so Jesus is not crucified, was never crucified, but Muhammad's Allah made it appear as so. So it was not Jesus who was on the cross, but somebody else. So that verse, we have inspected it in the last stream, and we have seen. If you're tuning in right now, I would highly recommend you to go to a stream that we had about an hour ago, and I think it was more towards the beginning of the stream where we dived into that passage and did some critical thinking. What happened? What truly has happened? But you will find out. You will see for yourself that Muhammad's Allah, he failed. He failed at his plan. His plan really hardcore backfired on him, and he unintentionally created Christianity. Unintentionally created Christianity. So yes, I fully agree that according to this verse, according to Quran, Muhammad's Allah, he created all three of those groups. Sure, I agree with that one. But the interesting thing is he created Christianity. Just think about it. A group of people that believe and preach that God has a son. And that very statement, the very statement, God has a son, is extremely angering to Muhammad's Allah. This part fascinates me a lot. Like, it fascinates me. A God, Muhammad's Allah, that is presented to be this super planner. He outplans everybody. He literally, he's a master planner. And then his plan, his master plan, turns into something that angers him for now 1600 years. No, 1400 years. Angers him for now 1400 years. Like me, I'm a Christian, right? I agree with Jesus. Why I agree with Jesus is because the teachings of Jesus are actually pure, they're perfect, they're good. The teachings of Jesus. So the teachings of Jesus, they're perfect. So that's why I agree with Jesus. So I'm a Christian. And Jesus is the one who taught that God has a son. Jesus is the one who taught that anyone who does not believe that God has the only begotten son, that person is under condemnation. John 3:18. You can read it for yourself. So Jesus is the one who taught that God has a son. So I'm a Christian. If I agree with the teachings of Jesus, I agree with the fact that God has a son. And right now, I am sitting here live streaming, talking to people all over the world, proclaiming that God has a son. And according to Quran 19, verse 88 through 92, according to that passage, by me sitting here on this chair proclaiming that God has a son, Muhammad's Allah is getting extremely angered. I'm calm on the inside and proclaiming what Jesus taught. And because I'm calm on the inside, proclaiming what Jesus taught, Muhammad's Allah is just being extremely pissed off at me right now. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. He's the one who created Christianity. He's the one. And he's the one who created for himself, I guess, a group of people that will piss him off so that he would take a huge revenge on that group of people and send them all to hell for sure. He's the one who created. Like, that's his master planning. Like, I'm truly unapologetic to say that Muhammad's Allah plans are quite terrible. I don't think he knows what he's doing. Once I inspect the things that have been done, I honestly speaking do not think that he knows what he's doing. Muhammad's Allah likes to pride himself that he does know what he's doing. But in reality, if you look at the plan and the outcome of the plan, it's like, yo, bro, you need to go to a planning school. That's just my personal opinion. Paul created Christianity. That's the claim. Paul created Christianity. No, not really, not really, not really. Christianity, the name Christianity. Okay. Let me show you something. So Christianity, the first time we find the word Christianity is in Acts chapter 11, verse 19. This is the story. So this is a story how Barnabas and Paul, let's just read the story. Now, those who were scattered after the persecution that arose over Stephen traveled as far as Phoenicia, Cyprus, and Antioch, preaching the word to no one but Jews only. But some of them were men from Cyprus and Cyrene, who, when they had come to Antioch, spoke to Hellenists, preaching the Lord Jesus. And the hand of the Lord was with them, and a great number believed and turned to the Lord. When the news of these things came to the ears of the church in Jerusalem, they sent out Barnabas. So the church of Jerusalem sent out Barnabas to go as far as Antioch. When he came and had seen the grace of God, he was glad and encouraged them all that with purpose of heart they should continue with the Lord, for he was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and faith. And a great number and a great many people were added to the Lord. Then Barnabas departed for Tarsus to seek Saul. And when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. So it was that for a whole year they assembled with the church and taught a great many people. Look, and the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. So the first time Christians or the followers of Jesus were called Christians was in Antioch. Paul created Christianity. No, no. Paul was there in Antioch. Barnabas was there too in Antioch. And they preached the teachings of Jesus. And not just preached the teachings of Jesus, they lived the teachings of Jesus. And by preaching and living the teachings of Jesus, it was the people from the outside, they looked at Paul, they looked at Barnabas, they looked at the people that were following the teachings of Jesus, and they go like, those people are Christ-like. They are like Christ. They literally are like that Jesus Christ whom they're preaching. They're copying him. They're Christian. They're Christian. So in essence, if you really think about it, who came up with the word Christian? It was not Christians. No. It was people outside of Christianity. They looked at a follower of Jesus and said, that's a Christ-like. So that's a Christian. But who created the Christianity? Jesus. Jesus was the initial teacher of, the teachings of Jesus Christ. He was the initial teacher. And then anyone who would follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, they would be known as a Christian. Simple. Why make things complicated? Bro, I have no clue. Let's simplify things a bit. Let's simplify things a bit. Okay, so let's see what's next. Let's see what's next. Paul was affirmed by the apostles. Yeah, Paul was affirmed by the apostles. That's 100% true. Affirmed. What does that mean? Affirmed that what Paul is teaching is from Jesus. He was affirmed that his teachings were confirmed. Muhammad was not affirmed or confirmed, but Paul was. Would the disciples of Jesus agree with the teachings of Muhammad? No, they wouldn't. The disciples of Jesus would tell the Christians to be aware of Muhammad and not to believe in what he says. But the disciples of Jesus did not say that about Paul. They didn't. They said that what Paul taught is spot on good. Everything is good with the teachings of Paul. That's what the disciples of Jesus said. So, yes, you're 100% correct. Paul was affirmed by the apostles. And why Paul was affirmed? Because Paul was in line with Jesus. If Paul would not be in line with Jesus, he would not be affirmed. You believe in Paul's teachings. Lucas, bro, you don't find any of the teachings of Paul in the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You don't find. And the Gospel of Matthew was written by Matthew, not by Paul. Paul had no influence over Matthew whatsoever. The Gospel of Matthew is Injil. The Gospel of Luke, John, Mark is Injil. That's where you find the teachings of Jesus. Paul had no authority over those authors whatsoever. All of them wrote their books independently from each other. We primarily align the teachings of Paul. We compare. We take the teachings of Paul and we compare them to the teachings of Jesus. If the teachings of Paul, if they match the teachings of Jesus, we accept them. But if the teachings of Paul do not match the teachings of Jesus, that's when we reject it. And the reason why we believe in what Paul taught, it's very simple. Because Paul was affirmed by the disciples. There was nothing contradictory found in what Paul taught. So that's why we agree with what Paul taught, and everything is good in the fact of what Paul of the teachings of Paul. There, okay. And yes, I do agree with that one because I like to know for myself too. bro, if you actually think that Paul has contradicted what Jesus taught, just pop those passages on the screen and let's go over the passages. Let's see what Paul taught, and then we'll find what Jesus taught, and we'll look to see if both teachings are in line, or Paul is fighting against what Jesus has taught. So I agree with you. Let's get this done. And you can either write those passages in the comments, and I'm looking at the comments, or you can click on the link on top of the, so on top of the comments, I pinned a comment, and it has a link to our studio. Click on the link, and then I'll be able to bring you up on stage, and we can have a live conversation. And you can then present your case, all the teachings of Paul that are corrupting or going against the teachings of Jesus. Because remember this, remember this. Jesus is Christ. Okay? Jesus is Christ. Anyone who goes against what Jesus taught, that person in essence is an antichrist. But Jesus, he is Christ. So that's why if Paul, according to you, basically what you're saying is Paul went against what Jesus taught. So that makes Paul an antichrist. And if you actually think that is true, we as Christians, we are literally in challenging you. We're daring you. Bring to us the passages where we could see for ourselves that what you're saying is true. That is 100% true. Paul's teachings are in line with Jesus and the apostles. And then we have this stupid comments as well. But it is what it is. Some people are, what can we say, out of their minds. Jewish atheist. You know, I find your name very, very interesting. Jewish atheist. It just shows me, how much Jews, they hate God. God is good. And God has chosen Jews to be their God and to take care of them. And Jewish atheist, it's one of those prime examples of how much God's chosen people hate him. Because atheist is a person who says there is no God. A Jewish atheist is a person that is chosen by God, who believes and screams in God's face that there is no God. That's a Jewish atheist. Ay. But that's just my personal opinion. I find this fascinating in a way. Yeah. How is my internet doing? My internet is struggling. It's struggling, but it's doing. Yeah, it's better to be at the studio where the internet is solid, is strong, where the setup is very, very, very awesome. I have a lot of screens and monitors all over me. I can see everything. It's awesome to be there, but it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we need to go mobile, and when we go mobile, let's continue to do what we are doing. And I do appreciate everybody who has tuned in the previous stream. And the previous stream, ooh, the chat was going over there. The chat was going over there. And thank you so much to everybody who made the chat go in the previous stream. And thank you so much for to the people who tuned in, and actually we had an interesting conversation too. in the previous stream from a person, with a person who was from Northern Africa. I didn't catch the country name. But he was from North Africa. A Muslim from North Africa. And why I like this, I personally think that that person whom I spoke with, I don't remember his name, I'm sorry. His name was a little hard. He didn't really think through what he's been taught. And then he came to this live stream and he started to present the things that he has been taught by the imams to a Christian. And a Christian was able to show him that what his imams taught him is actually wrong. It's not good. It's not accurate. So right now, what this engagement in the live stream, what this can prompt is possibly it can prompt him into opening up the Injil, opening up the teachings of Jesus, and just get to know what Jesus taught. Because I hear this over and over and over again, where a Muslim would open up the Injil, the teachings of Jesus, and they would fall in love with Jesus. They literally, their testimony is they would fall in love with Jesus. They would read and see how perfect and wonderful the teachings of Jesus are, and they would fall in love with them. And through that, Jesus would be drawing that Muslim to himself. And over time, that Muslim would convert. Because they would start to understand that the teachings of Muhammad are simply evil. Simply evil. But the teachings of Jesus are actually perfect. Perfect. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think we will end the live stream on this note, and I do want to appreciate all of you for just hanging around with me on your Sunday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You make my Sunday interesting. I like the questions that are getting popped up. I like the conversations that are happening. So thank you, thank you. Let's continue to talk, and let's continue to present different cases. Why? Why shall we continue? Well, I want to get to know what the truth is. Don't you? I know this. If I follow the truth is from God. If I follow the truth, I follow God. I follow God, I'll end up in heaven. But if I follow deception, deception will land me away from God. Because deception is going to be counter to the truth. So let's talk. Let's try to. And again, I'm your host. My name is Serge, and until next time is tomorrow. We will end the live stream on this note. And tomorrow we will pick up. We will go over John chapter 1. I decided to do Monday evening topics, just going through the book of John, one chapter per Monday. So for the next 30, not 30, there's 24, I believe, 22 or 24 chapters in the Gospel of John. For the next 22 or 24 Mondays, we will be looking into who Jesus is according to what John is trying to show to us. But until then, please like the last stream, please like this stream, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys again in the future. Thank you so much for hanging around with me on a Sunday. God bless you all.